Did people tell me that kombucha was foolproof? Yes. Am I a fool? Apparently, because I ruined it almost immediately.
Hi. Hey everyone.
One of my favorite tricks.
One of the most versatile.
I can't recommend it enough.
I love baking, but I rarely ever have the forethought to, bring my ingredients to room temperature before I'm baking. A couple tips to help you bring them to temperature a little bit quicker. For my eggs, I take a vessel, I put those eggs in that vessel, fill it with a little bit of water. Not too warm, not too cold, dare I say, just right. Within about 30 seconds to a minute, they should be brought up to temperature. For butter, I'll put it in the microwave for about 10 to 13 seconds, and then I'll flip it over and I'll do another 5 to 7 seconds. You should have softened butter. An important thing to note is that room temperature is not body temperature. When you're testing for room temperature, they shouldn't feel like your body. That's a weird way of putting that, but yeah, happy baking.
Toast your spices. It's not a process that takes a long time, especially if you're working with older spices. It just helps to boost the flavor. Start in a cold pan, put it over low heat, stir while I'm toasting. It's done when it starts to really smell fragrant. You really want to keep an eye on it while you're toasting because they will burn easily, and that's not what you want.
Build your pantry in a way that encourages you to cook. Things that you reach for the most frequently are at eye level or at waist level. Maybe the things that you cook with the least are at the very top or at the very bottom. And that way you're actually setting yourself up for success when it comes time to cook.
One of my favorite tricks is to keep a little bowl full of lemon wedges at the ready in the fridge. So that way, whenever I want to finish a sauce, add some brightness or make a vinaigrette. Okay, it's not a vinaigrette because there's no vinegar in it. It's a dressing, a salad dressing, or a citronette. But they are there waiting for me, and they will keep for up to a week.
My biggest lesson, just slow down in the kitchen. But I also had a secret ingredient, shiitake mushroom powder. I might make some broth and it doesn't taste that great, and I put the taki in, it's fantastic. Eggs, salad dressing, soup, pretty much anything. It takes it up to 11, and you never have to tell anybody that you're using a secret weapon.
The freezer has become my best friend in the past year. When I'm making a meal that would freeze well, I intentionally make extra and freeze them in these little individual dishes instead of making one big casserole or one big baked item. So I've got 3 enchiladas in there right now with some peas and the sauce already ready. My husband can grab it for whatever meal of the day he wants. I can grab it at whatever time I'm hungry. It's just really convenient, and it takes up a little less room in the freezer too.
The ingredient that I probably used the most this past year, those really, really thin rice noodles. All you have to do is heat up some hot water, pour water over them, and just let them hydrate. I dress them with nok cham, going in a more Vietnamese direction with grilled pork, cucumbers, rice noodle poha from my cookbook Indianish. These thin rice noodles are one of the most versatile and quick cooking carbs you can have in your pantry. I'll always have loads of them in my cabinet.
So I know that you already know that you're supposed to be seasoning and tasting your food at every stage of cooking. Keep spoons right here next to where I'm cooking. If I'm in the middle of cooking a dish, I add something, I want to taste it. I'm cooking something delicious over here. It looks so good. Taste it, and then just drop that in the sink.
I'm going to show you how I organize my baking ingredients to make it really easy and convenient to bake anytime. I put all of my main baking ingredients into a whole bin. Baking powder, baking soda, all different types of sugars, secondary ingredients in another bin, cocoa powder, orange blossom water. I don't use them that often, but I do need them. Fun stuff like sprinkles, baking cups. I keep all my dried fruit together. Finally, all of my chocolate goes in this bin. So anytime I want to bake, I only have to go to one shelf to get all my ingredients.
Always think about your future self. For instance, I make ramen eggs that I keep in the fridge, and whenever I get hungry for ramen, I make instant ramen and I use the eggs to top it. We don't always have the time to cook all the components of an elaborate recipe, but you always have the time to cook one component of that recipe, which you can keep on hand for future use.
My cooking advice is and will always be salt. It enhances everything. Desserts, salad, just basic cooking. That's why restaurant food tastes so good. It's got tons of delicious salt. A lot of people have grown up with table salts in their homes, but a nice kosher salt is a kitchen workhorse. You can add it to anything. And then on top of that, flaky sea salt with very big crystals, like the size of your pinky nail. That's great for finishing. Fine sea salt, in terms of the 3 tiers of salt, that's a third one that I keep some. I just rarely use it. Get rid of your table salt, get your kosher salt, enjoy your life.
I don't like having to think about what to make for dinner at the end of a work day, so I plan it all out on the weekend. Takes a little time, it's worth the effort. I usually pick a few new ones I want to try, do a big grocery order, and I write everything down on a chalkboard in our kitchen, and my week is so much easier.
My favorite cooking tip is to always place a tea towel under your cutting board. It just makes everything so much easier. It makes it easier to chop, it makes it easier to keep it steady, it prevents accidents, and it's also just aesthetically pleasing.
I use herbs in about 80% of everything that I cook with. I need them to be as fresh as possible for as long as possible. And I do that by not only washing them, but also wrapping them in paper towel and putting it in a new Ziploc bag. A lot of times when you come home from the grocery store, you just like keep it in the bag, and then over a few days it gets really gross and brown and icky. This method really keeps your herbs fresher longer, fresher longer, fresher longer, fresher longer.
Something that I've learned over the past year of cooking in my kitchen more than I ever have before, it's all gonna be okay. I've tried a lot of new things, scallion growing, bread baking, other kinds of, adventures in the kitchen, and some of them have worked out and been great. Other ones, like kombucha, not so much. There's a way to fix something. You can make weird bread into croutons, and that's fun, or you just throw the kombucha away and you never talk about it again.